Hi there, I'm Curie, and in this Anytype tutorial, I'll show you a habit tracker that I've been using for desktop and mobile. And I'm going to show you some tips on how to make your sets less overwhelming because sometimes your sets are super long, and we're going to use some of the different views and sorting and filtering to see how we can make it less overwhelming. Okay, so first of all, I've got a grid view, and this is just a set, and the object type is habit. To recreate this drink 64-ounce water one, I'm going to add a relation. For this one, I'll just type water. And then for relation type, these ones have a checkbox, right? Even though it's actually a circle. Rename that to water. Okay, and then if you want that little emoji, you don't have a choice to do it within the header. So what I did, I'm on a Mac. I just went to my emoji picker on a Mac, and then I just put my cursor here in front of water and then double click and add a little space. And that's how I got the little icon here. And just so you know, if you try to reduce this, you can't just have the icon. It's just going to flip back to the checkbox. Okay, so now that you see how you can make these checkboxes, I just made a bunch, and then I went ahead and added this one, which is called a habit date. And the reason for doing this is you want to be able to sort into these ones that I'm going to show you a little bit later, and you need a date value or date relation to be able to do that. Same with day of the week. It just gives you a different option if you want to just view 1 week at a time, but you do have to enter this manually, like these dates and days of the week aren't going to populate on their own. So one tip I have is to use the sorting. I'm going to pick new sort and habit date. And then this one is ascending. If you pick descending, you'll have the most recent one at the top and then the oldest one at the bottom. So that's one way you can make it less overwhelming. And then the second way to make it less overwhelming is to use a list. So this is a separate view, and how I got that is I went over here to create new view, so this plus sign over here, and you want to choose this one that's called layout. And so it has 6 different layouts here, and list is the one that I used to make this one. And so this one's a little bit more minimalist, and yes, you can just check things off right from here. You can also add an icon here for the habit if you want. The next thing I want to show you is the gallery current week. With this one, it shows you your information as a card, and you can choose to have your information right there, and you can click on it too. And so if you go over back here, I've selected gallery, and you want to click on this one, the gallery view. And so you have some options for changing the card side, and if you want like images to show up on it, if you want to show the icon. And then if you go back to this one, relations, this is where you can toggle on and off what you want to show on your cards. So I like having all this stuff show on here. One other thing I did on this one is to filter. So using a filter, if you pick a date relation, it's going to show that little calendar icon, you can choose a habit date, and then it says, has different options. So if you choose the one that says is within, and it will give you an option for all of these relative dates, I just chose current week. So the current week, just so you know, in Anytype starts on Monday through Sunday. And you'll see that I have actually 2 for January 5th. I want to get rid of that. Let me delete that one. Okay. So it goes through Sunday. And then I think what I did here, I duplicated it and I forgot to change the title. So let's see what I put in here. So for this filter, it says is within and next week, and I don't have anything in here yet. You can right click it to edit, and I'm going to put next week. Okay, so that makes sense. So let's see how this works. So say this one that is for January 5th, if I change the habit date and I make it for Monday, it disappeared from my current week because the week runs from Monday through Sunday, and the gallery will have that date, even though I also need to change the day of the week. So it's not as smooth, but I still love Anytype, so I'm willing to do some workarounds. Next up, we have the Kanban view, and Kanban view is a column that is based on a different relation. So up here, the columns are based on the day of the week that I chose, And then you can actually move them from column to column. So say this one, I made it on Wednesday, but I actually wanted it to be for Tuesday. If you look at the property on it, it says Wednesday right now. And now it's switched over to Tuesday. It's automated. It's very cool. I really like using this. And then you can put it back and it updates. And so this is showing you, it's kind of hard to see all of them. So Sunday, you do have to scroll to the right to see all of them, Monday through Sunday. And the options are the same. I did current week, and then it's filtered. And then it had the last modified date, but you don't really need that sorting because you have them in columns already. And then here under your settings, okay, so I chose the Kanban view. If you click out here on layout, Kanban, and here is where you would choose what you want to show up at the top of your list. And you need to pick one that's a select where you can only pick one at a time. It's originally used for progress. So usually you see this as like to do, in progress, and completed, but you can make it very flexible for other groupings like I did for days of the week. Again, you can also edit which relations show up on each card, and you can click directly on the card in the desktop view. So one con of using the Kanban view is that it doesn't work on mobile. It's not supported, and so you'll probably get frustrated if you really love using this that it's not on the mobile app yet. I'm not sure if that will happen in the near future, but just know that these other views, the grid, list, and gallery, do work on mobile, and that's what I've been using. And then Kanban next week, I just did the same thing. This one says January 6th, and that's the following week. So there's two more here. There's calendar and graph view, and these two also do not work in the mobile view at this time. Okay, but if you just want to see what this calendar view looks like, this is a recent update as of December. Calendar view. Okay, so it's got a calendar, but all of them ended up on the 5th, which that's not really what I want. And let's take a look why that is. So if you go to settings and you go to the layout for calendar, you'll see the date relation here says last modified date. So that just means this calendar is only going to show you anything that has a last modified date value in that relation or that column of your spreadsheet. I can change this to habit date, which makes more sense for what we're doing. And so in this view, yes, you can actually click on it here. And you can also see if you click on the day instead of on the object that shows up, you will get to this view of the date as an object, and it should show you anything else that was edited on that day. So let's go to, I'm recording today on the 5th. So see how this one has habit date, but it also has added date, and it has creation date for all this other stuff that I made. So this date view is kind of useful. I'm still getting used to it. But if you want it set to habit date, that is where you would pick it from. If you want it to show up in this view, also just know you can't create new objects from clicking in here like an actual calendar app. So hopefully those are all improvements that were coming maybe in the next year or two. But yes, Anytype's still in active development. Sometimes things take longer than we anticipate them. So this is a mobile view. I'm in the habit tracker space. If I click on the set, so you have the relations here at the top, and you have to scroll left and right to be able to click on things. So it's a little bit harder because it doesn't line up exactly because they do have to have this stay on the page for you to know which object you're editing. And so here is the list view. So list view looks nice, but you can't actually click on those checkboxes from there. It always opens up and then you have to click it on here. So just so you know, the list view probably better just on desktop instead of here because it's not really functional. Okay, and then the gallery current week, you still can't click on the checkboxes there. You have to click on and off from within inside of it. And then if you look at some of these other ones that we have in here, it just says unsupported, and then it throws up this screen.